Mahmoud Khalil, whose arrest and imminent deportation was celebrated by Donald Trump on Truth Social today. Khalil is a graduate student at the Columbia University. He is a pro-Palestinian activist who was detained by ICE authorities over the weekend. Now, Khalil is a permanent resident who previously Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the Trump administration would be, quote, revoking the visas and or green cards of Hamas supporters in America so they can be deported.
Khalil and his American wife were here at Columbia University in their Columbia University-owned student housing, and ICE agents came in and they took him into custody. According to the attorney, when the agents were asked what were they doing, they were told that the State Department had ordered that his student visa be revoked. They were also told when asked, but he has permanent residency and that he has a green card. The reply from the agents was that's being revoked too.
President Donald Trump's promise to crack down on what he calls illegal campus protests is in high gear and focused in on Columbia University. This after ICE agents arrested a prominent Palestinian activist, Mahmoud Khalil, over the weekend.
We have created the only safe space for Palestinians on this campus with no help from the university.
Khalil helped lead the student protests at the Ivy League campus last year. ICE reportedly acting on orders to take his green card despite Khalil's status as a permanent resident.
Post on X, the Department of Homeland Security seemingly referencing those demonstrations, saying Khalil, quote, led activities aligned to Hamas, a designated terrorist organization. Now, President Trump has been vocal in condemning what he calls, quote, agitators, saying they will be sent back to the country from which they came.
Department of Homeland Security and its agents entered a student residential building at Columbia University and detained a prominent student and activist named Mahmoud Khalil. He's a Palestinian and was one of the leaders of the Gaza Solidarity Encampments last year. He also has a green card. The government agents told Khalil's lawyer that they were executing a State Department order to revoke his visa, his student visa. And there's some new reporting tonight that Mahmoud's attorney does not even know where he has been taken. And this comes just days after Trump, at least one of the times that he had vowed to deport foreign students and imprison so-called agitators or pro-Hamas radicals involved in protests against Israel's onslaught on Gaza. These protests were largely peaceful and diverse, but they were falsely labeled as pro-Hamas and as widespread attacks on the safety of Jewish students, even as significant numbers of Jewish students were participating or even leading these protests.
Today, a man by the name of Mahmoud Khalil was detained by ICE in a Columbia University-owned apartment building. He was detained and taken to a detention facility in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Why was he detained? Well, according to the Associated Press, who got in contact with Khalil's lawyer was told that the State Department was executing a warrant on him, on Mahmoud Khalil, in relation to his organizing for a protest last year on Columbia University in solidarity with Palestine. Mahmoud Khalil is a green card holder, and his lawyer was told that his green card was being revoked for him organizing a protest, for him being one of the organizers of a protest. They are revoking a permanent residence green card over that.
Everyone should be concerned about this. Last night, plainclothes agents approached Mr. Khalil and his wife as they were coming back home. He's a student at Columbia University. She's 8 months pregnant. They were coming back from Iftar because it's the holy month of Ramadan. And they get approached, and at first, again, they didn't identify themselves as Homeland Security agents. They proceed to threaten the wife before they take him into custody. We're finding out that information is coming out that they were revoking his student visa. Well, guess what? He doesn't have a student visa. He's a green card holder, a legal permanent resident. Again, they proceed to engage the attorney this way. He or she asked for a warrant. They hung up on them. If you believe in constitutional rights, you understand that they're targeting this person, and everyone knows he has been very vocal against the genocide of the Palestinian people in Gaza. And they're targeting him and refusing him constitutional rights. Who's next?
Last night, the Department of Homeland Security showed up to Mahmoud Khalil's apartment, detained and arrested him for his activism at Columbia. He has a green card. He is a permanent resident. His wife is a citizen, also 8 months pregnant. Last night, as they were entering their apartment, 2 plainclothes DHS officers shoved in after them and then started questioning Khalil and detained him. According to his wife, the agent said that Mahmoud's visa had been revoked, but he's not on a visa. He has a green card. And when she went and grabbed the green card from their apartment and came back to show them, one of the agents who was on the phone seemed confused and said he has a green card, and then said, oh, his green card has been revoked too.
Guys, vote for whoever you want, but shut the fuck up about Donald Trump being worse on Palestine.
I'm voting for Dr. Jill Stein.
Jill Stein, you have my vote.
Days before the presidential election in the U.S., the Abandon Harris campaign is rallying support for Green Party candidate Jill Stein, who they support because of her anti-war stance and commitment to advocating for an immediate ceasefire in Palestine's Gaza. However, the Abandon Harris campaign argues,
by voting for Jill Stein, we're showing that there is a change. Change can come.
If you don't want to vote for Jill, vote for Donald Trump. But do not give a vote to Kamala Harris.
Anya Al-Masri. I live in North Carolina and I'm here visiting Michigan.
Why are you here in this event today?
To push the swing state of Michigan not to vote for Kamala Harris and to vote for Jill Stein. The issue is that Michigan has an effect on the entire country. If in Michigan, where we have the largest concentration of Arab Americans, Kamala Harris still wins, then it would be a defeat for all of us. To encourage everyone we know in Michigan to vote against Kamala Harris as step one, and step two, so that we can count our votes, we need those votes to go for Jill Stein.
And, you know, the whole, oh, if you vote for Stein, then you're voting for Trump. No, that's not true. If you vote for Jill Stein, you're voting for Jill Stein, okay? So whoever wins, if it's one of the two, whatever, that's not my problem.
Did you vote in November?
Stein.
Not just Democrats saying you're helping Donald Trump. Donald Trump is saying, he said at a rally, Jill Stein, I like her very much. You know why? She takes 100% from them. Donald Trump seems to like your candidacy. Steve Bannon has said the same thing. Why? According to the Associated Press, just last week, Jefferson Thomas, a longtime Republican Party operative from Colorado, submitted petition signatures that his GOP law firm gathered on behalf of your campaign in New Hampshire. Republicans are cynically working to get you on the ballot. The Republicans, it's not just Republicans saying you're helping Republicans. You yourself seem to endorse that message, Jill Stein, over the weekend. You liked a comment on Instagram which said, and I quote, "The Dems need to be stopped. Either vote for Trump, or if you can't, then vote Green."
We're voting for Trump. And that's the sentiment, not just of an 8-year-old, but of an entire community.
I'm not just voting for Trump, I am endorsing him and telling my community to vote for him as well.
I voted for Donald Trump. The initial reason why I voted for him was that he promised to bring stability to the Middle East and, you know, to focus more of our resources on our country.
Who voted for Trump are my cousins, my friends.
We support Donald J. Trump for his commitment to promoting family values and protecting our children's well-being, especially when it comes to curriculums and schools. We are with President Trump because we want a strong border.
What brought you out here tonight? Abandon Harris brought me out here tonight. We are telling people that they have to vote against genocide.
I want to make one thing very, very, very clear. We are going to do everything in our power to make sure Kamala Harris doesn't win. Vote for, if you want Donald Trump to win, say that. I will vote for Satan if I have to. I don't care who we gotta deal with for the next 4 years, as long as you motherfuckers know that you fucked up and you guys are gonna deal with some type of repercussion for what happened for the last 10 months. I don't care who we vote for. I'm voting for an independent candidate, either Jill Stein or Cornel West. I know they're not gonna win. We're gonna make sure, I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that bitch does not win and the Democrat Party loses the election.
How you like me now? 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 How you like me now?
And ultimately, I remain committed to a path forward that can lead to a two-state solution. A two-state solution is the only path, and one that ensures Palestinians can finally realize the freedom, security, and prosperity that they rightly deserve.
Kamala Harris is looking real good now, huh? I said Kamala Harris is looking real good now, huh?
Y'all wanted to play the fuck around game so goddamn badly. Well, you are fixing to find out very bigly.